Welcome to another Demarcation Media Mega Construx review. Today we are going to be looking at a cardboard box. No, I'm just kidding. We'll get this opened. You already know what it is from the title of this video. I got this from Who the Cares. He was the one that hooked me up with this, and he said he also put some extra stuff in the box, which is why I have waited to open it till I can put it on camera. This box is filling up almost my entire studio. This set inside here is one that I was not expecting. Simon over on the Domain was the one who revealed it. And it opens up a lot of really interesting possibilities. And my knife won't go back in. So let's see here. Oh, there's a separate box. Alright, so let me get this big one out of the way. There we go, the Forward Unto Dawn. Originally, I had a bit of a problem with the design because I thought this gun, barrel end was too short, but I did some research, and it looks like it's fairly proportional, so I am very, very interested in getting this thing built. But we'll take a closer look at that box in a second. I wanted to take a look at this, which we will only show one side of it because I don't want to show any addresses or anything. So let me go ahead and cut this open. It probably would be a little bit more reasonable for me to use my X-Acto knife still, but where would the fun in that be? Holy moly, there is a lot of figures in here. This might warrant another whole review video, to be honest. Holy moly, yeah, there's a lot of figures here. So I will save this one for another video, actually, so that we can get proper look at all of these. And we're not going to have time to get a proper look at them because we need to take a look at this. And there we are. This utilizes the new packaging, but this one looks really, really sleek. They added more black here at the bottom. The Forerunner texturing in the background is way more prominent. And it just has a really clean look overall. We got the new Mega logo, Halo. We get to see the single figure that we get in the set. There's the new Mega branding on top. I really like how this looks, as always. Get to see Infinite Chief on the side there. Layout of the ship here. On the back, we get to see the display stand. We get to see that Keyes can stand on there, which is nice. And then we get to see some more angles of the ship. Looks like we get some thruster effects. And then we have the other most recent display set, which is the Needler. I'm really hoping we get to see not only the Spirit of Fire and some Covenant ships, but also that the weapons line will expand to UNSC. I would really love to see a Magnum. Magnum would be really cool. But let's get this thing open. As is the norm now, this is one of those nice hinge boxes, which means if you're a collector of the boxes and the set both, you will easily be able to keep this intact. And we've got all of our parts inside. There's a ton of printed parts, an absolute ton. Keyes is already assembled. There's the instructions. Not gonna lie, that's a weird layout. I think they probably should have just shrunk the ship and had it all on there instead of cutting off the tail end. Graphically, that looks weird. Instructions look pretty good. On the back, we just get to see the ship again because it doesn't have any others to put in the lineup with it. And just the parts checklist. Alright, so let me go ahead and get this built and we will take a closer look. And we are done. Now I have to say, this is not a build for beginners. Not at all. If you're just starting into Mega Construx, I would recommend you go for a smaller set or, just one of the more normal sets, because this is a fairly complex build to begin with, but then there's a massive amount of printed pieces on here, and you have to make sure each piece has the print oriented the right way, otherwise it's going to look wrong. An obvious one would be, the UNSC logo. Obviously, you have to have that pointing the right direction, otherwise it's going to look very weird. So the build was really fun, but again, it's not one for beginners. There's a lot of extra pieces, as per usual with Mega sets now. There's some tan mixed in there, some UNSC green. Mega found a way to get that in there. Now, in the last bag, bag 7, I was missing a 1x1 like this in black. Luckily, there was an extra one left over from one of the other bags, but that's weird. That's the first time I've had one like actually missing, unless of course it got mixed up with the trash, and I didn't see it. But yeah, that was a little weird. Other than that, I didn't see any malformed pieces. The prints are all sharp, so I'm pretty happy with the build overall. So let's go ahead, jump in, and take a look at that Miranda figure. So here is the Miranda figure, and I gotta say, this is a terrible figure. For one reason, I mean, the torso is pretty well done. The Keyes name is printed on there, and it's visible if you look in close enough. The print on the arm or arms are nice. The print on the legs are good. Even on the side of the torso is good. That's all good, but the face is horrifying. That is absolutely atrocious. The 20th Miranda wasn't great in terms of the face, but Mega tried to make this more realistic, and they failed miserably. Maybe some people's would look better, like, just like that. It looks all right. It still is kind of horrifying, but it's like the eyes are misaligned. Yeah, that's not good. Actually, let me get in even closer so you can really see. Yeah, there you go. So they have like the pinhole eyes on the face, but they decided to try and print the pupils in like this brown, and it just looks bad. Like this one's too low, this one's too high. It kind of looks like cat eyes with the way it's printed. No, Mega, no. That's not good. The hair is all right. But yeah, that's disappointing. I mean, I wasn't real excited for this figure to begin with, but this just makes it even worse. You can see the Keyes print there, though. That's pretty well done. So yeah, bit of a flop with this figure. Maybe some people will get better printed ones. In that case, that's great. But yeah, I think that was Mega just made every wrong choice for the head, pretty much. Yeah, that's a bummer. Moving on to the ship itself. So it comes with a stand, and you can just kind of set it on this block here. There's a little square hole in like the cargo bay section. Whoops, I'm already breaking it. Those are just attached on by one stud. You can set it down and just display it like that. The stand is pretty nice. It's all smooth. We have a printed plaque here with a picture of the ship. It says Forward Unto Dawn. The stand itself is a bit annoying. The box and the instructions both show you lining up this so it's all straight, but the nature of the piece makes it so that it has to be turned for you to stick it down, and you can't just rotate it. It's like a hexagon, which means you can never display the ship directly sideways like they show. It always has to be turned. Unless I'm missing something major with these parts, which I don't think I am. It's the same pieces they use for the Arcadia jump ship and the Aspect of Glass jump ship. So that's just how they are. So it's a little annoying that they show something on the box that can't really be achieved. That feels like false advertising to me. So that's my big complaint about the stand. Other than that, it looks good. We do have the spot to stick Miranda, even though your display will probably look better without her. Now, the ship itself is a bit smaller than I was expecting. It's only, well, you know what, let me bring in, if you were wondering, no, the Micro Pelican does not scale well, unless you want forced perspective, in which case that kind of works. But that's how it scales to the Micro Pelican. There's the Micro Phantom. And even though it's wildly out of size, the Micro Wasp. So yeah, this thing is not that big. It's fairly robust. It's got some weight to it, but it's not that big. So if you're expecting, size for the $60 you have to pay for this, you're going to be disappointed. The part that really makes this shine is the prints. There are so many prints all over this. It's probably at least 50 printed parts, if not more. Possibly the most printed parts we've ever seen in a Mega Construx set. And it all looks fantastic. And then the building process itself is very well done. Mega really did think this through. I originally thought that they had gotten the proportions wrong, that this section should have been like another a 2x2 length this direction. But no, it's actually pretty well scaled. I'm impressed. So let's get in a little closer so you can really appreciate that printed detail. Hello? There we go. One thing Mega really achieved with all of these prints is getting the sense of scale. A lot of times these kind of MIDI scale, it's not really micro scale, but the MIDI scale stuff doesn't have the sense of scale that it needs. It doesn't feel large when you look at it up close, but this really does, just because of all of the detail. And they really went all out. I mean, look at the little red print there. This gray between the two is printed, whereas this is just a part. And they color matched it pretty darn well. Up here we have the Forward Unto Dawn little name plaque section. I've heard multiple people suggest that Mega should have included one that said, why did the name just go right out of my head? In Amberclad. They should have had one that said in Amberclad. That way you could buy two and have a Forward Unto Dawn and an in Amberclad. Which personally, I think that would have been a fantastic idea. It would have kind of matched what Mega did with Arbiter's Quest and gave us two options. And I don't feel like it would have been that expensive to add one more 1x5 plate. But, it is what it is. We've got a ton of these printed parts here. We got these little turrets. You can kind of move the guns a little bit. You can rotate them a bit. They're a little stiff. And you can move them up and down. So that's pretty cool. The bridge looks pretty cool. There's some translucent blue in there. And that right there is a 1x2 plate with a print on both sides. So if we swivel it around, you can see the red there. And then we have like the windows up there. More print on the top, which let me get it off its stand. There's a lot of print up there. All of this along the sides. That's mirrored on this side. There's the thrusters back there. There's print on this like bay section here. There's print there. It's just so much. And then there's a lot of built detail as well. So like you really can feel like you're getting in close to something. And like you really do get the sense of scale. I think Mega nailed that. Which that's the thing that they really needed to get right. And I think they definitely did that. Now, it would have been nice, and this is a bit of a pipe dream here, but it would have been nice to have a little tiny platform that could lower with just like maybe a tiny little scorpion or something. That would have been so cool and would have added a little bit of playability to the whole thing. But as is, I am quite impressed. I was originally not super hyped for this just because, my thing is figures. I really like the figures. But this looks so good. Like, I am thoroughly impressed. See the little thrusters, the big thrusters. And I'm really, really excited now for what Mega might do. I really, really want to see a Spirit of Fire done the same way. Because I think that it would look brilliant alongside the Forward Unto Dawn. And it would fit this kind of building style really well. And then maybe another Infinity, a little larger, one that would actually have tiny versions of this pop out. Even, honestly, I would even be down to get the Halo 4 version of the Forward Unto Dawn. Even though, it didn't make a ton of sense to have it be redesigned. I think that still would be pretty cool. And then, obviously, we need some Covenant cruisers to go along with this. But yeah, this is really, really well done. I guess that's where the Mach Cannon would be. Not sure what this is. Are those other guns? You can kind of see in there. There's still detail in there. The only spot that there's not a ton of detail is like right under here. Oh no, under here. That's about it. Everything else is very, very well detailed. I'm impressed. This set has definitely hit all of the marks it needed to hit, except for in the figure department. In the build and design areas, absolutely A+. Well, there you have it. That is the UNSC Forward Unto Dawn. I would say this is a really, really solid installment to Mega's kind of display line, and it's also a fantastic beginning to this kind of MIDI scale ships, which actually I wanted to bring in. This is the Red Team Warthog just for scale, so you can kind of see exactly how large this is. It's about twice the size of the Warthog, roughly, which for $60, it feels like a lot. Yes, there is a lot of pieces here, and there's a lot of printed pieces, so I understand the pricing. It still feels like a lot. So it's just something you have to keep in mind, that when you're getting this, when you're done, you may look at it and go, wow, I paid $60 for that. But like I said before, this is probably the most amount of printed parts we've ever gotten in any Mega Construx set ever. And if the ship line continues, that might change. There might be ships with more, ships with less. But for now, this is the most amount of print we've ever gotten on a single set, which I am sure that drives the price up, especially because all of the print looks really, really nice. I have seen some people with getting smeared Forward Unto Dawn, like name plaques, but mine, I don't see a single like smudge on these prints. They're really, really well done. So I'm impressed. I would highly recommend this set to people who have been collecting for a while and want something that is a fantastic display piece, or if you want something for like a background of a diorama, because like I said before, forced perspective, stick this up in the back of a diorama. Looks like the ship is coming in. Personally, I'm looking forward to trying to get some photos of this because it's very photogenic from almost all angles. So yeah, it's just really, really good. The part that I don't like at all is the figure. That is a lame figure. The head is terrible. The rest of the figure is all right. The printing is well done. Mega still has yet to give us a good Miranda figure. The two we have gotten have been pretty bad in the face. So yeah, I wish we would have gotten somebody else. I don't really know who else would have been a good fit here. Other than maybe like a Johnson. I don't know. I just feel like somebody else. Maybe that's just me. I'm not a huge fan of Miranda Keyes' character. Like, she's not a bad character. I'm just not a big fan of her character. So getting a figure of her is kind of mad to me to begin with. But yeah, this ship is brilliant. And it's also quite swooshable. Like, you can grab it by the bottom here, swoosh it around. It's pretty solid. Like, I don't feel like you'd really break parts. I think the parts that would most break are here and these like panels here. Other than that, it's pretty good. Like stability wise. So yeah, very, very pleased with this. Highly recommend. You can find this in Targets right now. A lot of people are finding them. As for other countries, I'm not sure how you would find this. I guess just check your local toy stores, whichever places you would usually go to get Mega, and see if they're going to stock it, and then also be checking online, because this is definitely one that's worth getting. But if you've been building Mega for a while, because like I said, this is not a beginner build in the slightest, there's a lot that you can get wrong if you don't pay attention. So yeah, bottom line, fantastic set, highly recommend. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and consider subscribing, and I'll see you next time.